May I come in, sir?
Please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Please sit down. Anusha, please introduce yourself to the board.
Sir and ma'am, I am Naga Santosh Anusha, born and brought up at Visakhapatnam in the state of Andhra Pradesh. I hold a graduation in civil engineering. I used to earlier work as a forest range officer in the Department of Forest, state of Andhra Pradesh. Currently, I am posted as Deputy Collector with the State Civil Services. It's my 6th month of training I am undergoing, sir.
Where?
Visakhapatnam, sir. Andhra.
Andhra Pradesh is supposed to have 3 capitals. Is that right? Or there is a rethinking?
Sir, presently it is with the Supreme Court, but officially Amravati is our capital as of now, sir. There is a school of thought who is propounding for 3 capitals in the state, sir.
There is a school of thought.
Yes, sir. The state government, according to the people's aspirations, is thinking about it, but it is not official yet, sir.
Okay. So officially capital is still at Amravati.
Amravati, yes, sir.
But your civil services academy is at Vizag.
Sir,
Civil Services Academy, Training Academy.
training academy, it's an on-job training, sir. We won't have a specifically, yes, sir.
You don't have any academy?
We have it in Mangalgiri, sir. That is only for a brief period of 3 months. HRD training.
Mangalgiri is where?
It's in Guntur district, sir.
Guntur district. One question we'd like to ask you is, why you have not chosen any Group A services apart from the 5 services that you have listed?
So with due respect to all the services that UPSC is providing, currently I'm already posted as a deputy collector, sir, which gives me a plethora of opportunities to serve in the state. Whereas on the other side, a career upgradation opportunity has also been given, so which is why I wanted to opt, sir, the 5 services.
But the promotional prospects in various other Group A services would be much more. Suppose if you were not to get into this examination,
Yes, sir.
we sincerely hope that you would get into one of the services. The career opportunities in the other Group A services would also be much more.
So while filling the DAF and these options, I have talked to my DM and JC under whom I'm working right now. So based on these suggestions, and I wanted to be into the administrative services, sir. If not, I'll continue with the deputy collector, sir.
You are a civil engineer.
Yes.
Tell me, what is the smallest building block of matter?
Smallest building. In terms of civil engineering, sir, if I may ask.
I asked you the question. It is in very plain and simple English.
Building block is a brick, sir, for any building in civil engineering.
Building block of the matter.
Molecules, atoms. Sir, sorry, sir, I'm not able to interpret if it is molecule or an atom.
Molecule and atoms have also been broken into smaller particles. Which is the smallest particle that you know of?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall.
There is an election going on in Pakistan. Who are the main contenders?
Sir, Pakistan Muslim League PML and Pakistan, sir, Insaf, Tehreek Insaf, if I'm not wrong with the pronunciation.
Whose party?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I'm not aware of.
Former Prime Minister, you know the name of former Prime Minister of Pakistan?
Nawaz Sharif.
Not Nawaz Sharif. The current Prime Minister's immediate predecessor.
Yes, sir, he was in corruption. Sir, I'm sorry, sir. He's a cricketer by profession. I'm not able to recollect his name.
Well, he has been convicted thrice.
Yes.
You know on what charges?
One charge is that illegal marriage, recent ones.
Illegal marriage.
Not in the with respect to the Muslim laws or something, sir. In recent news, that is what I've read about him, sir. And he has used corruption for the throughout his tenure as.
Corruption is a very vague term.
Sorry, sir. I'm not able to recollect the exact words, sir.
What is free movement regime in India's northeast? And why is we are trying to put an end to it?
So during 1950s, the concept of free movement regime has started in India, Indian and Myanmar with respect to 1643 kilometers, where we have associated some ethnic origin tribes on the either side of the two countries.
1950?
1950, we have formalized the agreement, sir. In 2018 also, we have again 16 kilometers of before going for the fencing, we have done an agreement, sir. Recent issue is there is some contention coming from Meiteis on the Indian side saying for fencing of the border because of illegal trafficking and drugs being supplied to India from Myanmar. Based on this, sir, they're seeking for a fencing.
So, has the decision been taken?
Not yet, sir. They're still in the talks and they want to take up because with respect to every state, they have to take it, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So good afternoon, Anusha. So you're a civil engineer working as a deputy collector in Vizag. So my first question to you is, what is Visakhapatnam famous for?
Ma'am, there are multiple things.
Okay, name only two or
yes.
three.
Yes, ma'am. Geographical indication tag of coffee Arabica, which is
Okay.
Araku coffee, internationally renowned. We have an Eastern Naval Command also, ma'am. We have a very good port-led connectivity.
Okay.
The natural harbor. We have a steel plant also in the
Vizag steel plant.
Vizag steel plant, which is famous, ma'am.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
That's very good. So now, with respect to the elections in Pakistan, I'm not going to touch it, so don't worry. So I'm going to come to elections in India. Who decides when the elections are going to be held in India? How is it decided?
The election commission decides it with a notification, ma'am, like whichever is almost coming to an end, 5-year term, the states that are as well as for the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha itself. So it comes out with a notification, after which the states has to get machinery ready with all the EVMs, first level checks, everything.
Okay, good.
Yes.
But just answer what I have asked, you
Yes,
know.
ma'am.
So now we talk about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha.
Yes.
How many members are there in the Lok Sabha?
543, ma'am.
543 or 545?
Ma'am, two of its Anglo-Indian membership has been done away with. So presently,
Is done away with.
The amendment act has come, ma'am.
Okay.
So 543 is the present strength.
Okay. What about Rajya Sabha?
250, ma'am.
250.
250 is the core strength of it, but sitting and strength is 245.
What is the term of the members of Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha?
Lok Sabha is 5 years, ma'am. Rajya Sabha 6 years, ma'am.
6 years.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Now we come to the Uniform Civil Code.
Yes.
Why is it in the news? Today especially it is in the news. Why?
State of Uttarakhand is coming out with UCC legislation, ma'am, in the state. So which is why it is a news.
What is it about? Do you think it's a regressive step by government of Uttarakhand, or do you think it is a progressive step? What are your comments on it?
In my personal opinion, it's a welcoming step because we are uniform. We are making it uniform for irrespective of whichever religion or with respect to any gender. But the concerns with respect to Uttarakhand, ma'am, because registration of live-in relationships or only STs are excluded from it, whereas the other castes are also demanding that they should be also done because they have their own ritualistic practices which are traditional to them. So based on this, the contentions are there, ma'am.
So STs are going to be covered under UCC or no? No, they're
In
not
state
going
of
to be.
Uttarakhand,
But don't you think it's very unfair? Supposing
Yes.
I was in New York or I was in London or something. If I want to stay or live in with someone,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm adult, so why can't I live?
Yes.
What's the problem? Why should the government interfere in my personal choice?
Yes. Yes,
And
ma'am.
we have a right to religion and to practice.
Practice. Yes.
It's a fundamental right.
Fundamental.
So,
Yes. Ma'am, according to my limited reading into this issue, what from the government perspective, it is that giving them when they get registered tomorrow, if suppose any crime happens on the either of the partners or any further issues, disputes arises in future marriage course of action if they wanted to take. So in such cases, these will covered under the law on protected under UCC provisions. For this purpose, they have enacted this registration, ma'am.
so UCC Act is basically for the welfare of women. And what field does it cover normally?
This ma'am, marriage, child marriage as well, divorce, then adoption, inheritance of all religions and
So it is
genders.
kind of a progressive
Yes,
step
ma'am.
which
India,
Uttarakhand has
Uttarakhand.
taken. Now let us move towards the last question of budget. Would you be knowing anything about the budget?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What is the fiscal deficit of this current year?
Ma'am, presently it is going at 5.9 yes, ma'am, 5.9 percentage.
5.9 or 5.8?
5.9 percentage only, ma'am. As
Okay.
of
For the next year?
it is being projected to the gradually reducing it to 4.5 percentage in the coming
Next year it is going to be 4.5.
It being targeted, ma'am.
It is being
Estimate.
targeted. That's not a right answer. So when we talk about fiscal deficit, what is fiscal deficit?
Ma'am, the complete borrowings of the state, the liabilities that it incurs from the borrowings is the fiscal deficit, ma'am.
So when we talk about exactly what do you mean? I mean, just borrowing means fiscal deficit.
Ma'am, we have a total receipt that we receive in terms of all the taxes or any other sources from funds and everything, ma'am, or the people's investments into various PFs and all these things. From that, if we deduct the expenditure that we are taking, what lies is the extra borrowings that we got from international institutions or the local.
We
that
minus
source.
expenditure from receipt or receipt from expenditure.
Total receipts, expenditure, that will come into a deficit. If
The
it is,
difference between
difference
both.
between,
That
yes.
is be a safer option.
Yes, ma'am.
The word to use.
Yes.
Can you just hazard a guess, or if you know the real figure, I'll be very happy. What is the total expenditure of Government of India projected for 24-25?
Ma'am, I'm aware of the reasons. If I can take a guess, ma'am, because our total revenue is 47 lakh crore, ma'am.
Acha, total revenue is
Revenue.
47. Okay, then
Total expenditure is coming out to third, I think 26 lakh crore or something point
which
of it,
is
ma'am.
more? The matlab, expenditure is more, receipt is more. Which is more?
Total revenue or the receipt that we are getting is more, ma'am.
Acha, receipt is more,
receipt
expenditure is less.
less.
Okay.
20.
Thank you. All the answers on budget were wrong.
Oh, sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
I could recollect 47. Thank you. Sorry, ma'am.
Anusha,
Yes, sir.
very good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What is this Pradhan Mantri Vandan Yojana?
Vandan. Yes, sir. So for the tribal welfare, where the minor forest produce that tribals produce from the local forest, that will be through the organization of TriFed and Ministry of Tribal Affairs. They will brand their products and then they will sell it out in the e-markets or will be provided opportunities so that they can sell it directly, sir. And the tribals welfare will be maintained with a annual festival also, sir, through this one. But majorly to make it remunerative for these tribals, all the producers coming from forest, sir.
Okay. So, when you were a range officer,
Yes,
did you involve any participative approach, joint management of
Yes.
forests?
Yes. In the state of Himachal Pradesh, I was involved in joint forest management, sir, where we go to a locality, we understand their needs because they are mainly sustaining on forest producers, where they sell out in the local market. So we went there, we made a action plan also, like which all spaces should be increasing afforestation has to happen, or what kind of allied activities can be ensured through poultry or any animal husbandry activities. So this way we have engaged.
Okay, in the state of Andhra Pradesh,
Yes.
how much do you think the government is successful in terms of this joint forest management?
So, state of Andhra Pradesh is one of the pioneering states in this perspective, joint forest management, because we almost have 23 different tribal, which are very endemic to these regions also, the state of Andhra Pradesh. Uh, as a joint forest management, sir, here the mahua or the seeds that are collected from the mustards, the pulse varieties are also very much grown in the forest area, sir. So this will be what we do through this forest management is that they collect it responsibly without destroying the trees, and they will also make sure the patches of regeneration trees are maintained. So it is a participative approach. This is going on in Andhra Pradesh, sir.
Okay, so in your extracurricular activities, you are
Yes.
talking about women protection.
Yes.
So can you name some bills in the last year that became or say that were initiated in the parliament with respect to women?
Yes, sir. We have this Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, which was criminalizing extent of atrocities that act over this, sir. We also penalized many of the strengthening provisions, like we have made it gender neutral, sir. Adultery provision has been made in this bill only, which has become an act. Sir, secondly, I can remember is about the women reservation in the political institutions. So that is one thing, sir. We also have earlier POSH Act, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplace, 2013. So in this last decade, these are some of the important provisions, sir.
Okay, so it's been 6 months, right, since you're working as a
Yes.
deputy collector.
Yes.
And even before you are in public service.
Yes.
So can you name 3 most important values you consider as important for being a public servant or civil servant?
Sir, as per my experience with 2 jobs and the profession I'm currently undergoing, first of all, honesty is something very core and innate, sir. As a decision maker, we will impact a lot many people's lives, and we have to also disperse funds which are large in number in our hands and responsibility. So honesty is something that has to be coming in first. Second is integrity. Integrity of what we believe and what we do should go in coherence. Otherwise, this will create dilemmas and policy implementation lacunae. Thirdly, I would say the non-partisanship, which is very important, because given the diverse opportunities the job profile promotes, we'll be exposed to any kind of vulnerabilities, which we should not be, so that good administration can be delivered, sir. These are 3 values.
Okay. So one last question
Yes.
from your civil engineer.
Yes.
So how is this latest technology for civil engineers and the public officers helping improve the urban planning?
The first thing, sir, the technology 3D printing has been introduced, because of which we can outlay a model, prototype kind of thing. We can manufacture it, and we can know the vulnerabilities, like after 10 years or 20 years, will it be sustainable or not? In an urban planning module, construction of houses becomes very important, sir. Second, green buildings concept, because of increasing global climate change parameters, we need to bring on very sustainable buildings, which can take in natural lights and reduce our carbon footprint. Thirdly, sir, we can think of concretization, which is very important in urban planning. So that can be substituted with afforestation and all these things, where GIS can play a role, sir, where we can identify patches of lands where afforestation activities can go on, and that way we can increase the green spaces in the urban living areas. So,
One last question.
Yes.
How is AR and VR revolutionizing this civil engineering?
sir, augmented reality and virtual reality is to foresee something which will come in and identify it beforehand, so that tomorrow if with the same building, or if we are thinking of some dam construction, sir, if it has to happen on the real time, how it will be, on what parameters and dimensions, and how much cost effective it will be. This can help in civil engineering, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Anusha. Now I notice that since the questions were being asked from your subject, you became relaxed. Okay. You have been, you have experience of working in different departments of the government. That you are in the, you got selected yourself into the Forest Service, you worked, and now you are working totally different areas. Tell me what difference you find in the two services.
Apart from the similarities that it's a 24/7 job, sir. It gives more challenging every day and day because the problems venture up. But it's different in terms of because of the cadre. It's one thing, sir. Secondly, the Department of Land Revenue Administration is quite varied. One of the component is Forest Department, where coordination has to happen wherever reserve forest lies with the land administration. But the Deputy Collector or the Department of Land Revenue is much more varied. It also includes civil supplies, coordination with that. We also take care of the PDS or the ration distribution mechanisms with this department. We also have the industrial safety mechanisms with that department also, and environmental pollution control board also we have to coordinate. We also coordinate with the port and the naval command coordination whenever disaster hit region, because since my district is disaster prone region, so we also coordinate with the district disaster management teams. So it's a varied variety, sir. Whereas in the forest, although it was specializing towards the forestry or afforestation or increasing the green spaces, but it was also involved with human touch with tribal welfare and village development work, sir. So this is it.
Well, answering one earlier question about the choice of the jobs, of the services, you mentioned you wanted to go only in administration, right? But I find that you opted for income, revenue services also, which is not an administrative service. So why you gave these options?
Sir, as I said, my DM and JC sir who has suggested me to opt for, and they have given me.
Did you apply?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. After talking to them, I understood that the opportunities, even like what I could cater.
Okay. Um, the there is a in Mumbai the Prime Minister recently went and inaugurated a bridge. You know about that?
Atal Setu Bridge, recent. Atal Setu Bridge.
What is so special about it? Why everybody was talking about it? They were calling it a civil engineer marvel. What was the new thing in that?
Sir, it is designed earthquake resistant model, sir. Like it will resist any kind of earthquake over the magnitude of 5.4, which is very important. And it's simply supported, but what has happened is major portion of it will lie completely in the marine setting. Without much erosion, and with the steel has been avoided in this kind of a structure. Usually with all the modern engineering structures we use steel, but this time especially the copper plated, the bolted joints have been replaced so that erosive capacity should be reduced.
You said it is an earthquake proof model up to a certain scale. How you construct a building which, when you give this kind of certification that nothing will happen to this building, how it you construct that? What precautions you take? What kind of material do you use for that?
So first thing is that the foundation usually we have it in fixed format for any buildings, but earthquake resistant buildings should run on the roller supported, sir. It will have rollers at the basement or the foundation that we use, so that any kind of tremors that occurs into the building will be dissipated while the rollers will be moving here and there. Second concept is the grade of concrete that we use for these buildings is little on the higher side that can resist the earthquake shocks in future, sir. Also, the alignment, the vertical rise to the horizontal span ratio has to be maintained, considering the factor whichever zone the particular building or the construction falls into. See, these are the parameters based on which we.
When you were describing your experiences or the differences, you mentioned that you are responsible for distribution of PDS. PDS is a very bad word in many places. What are the challenges in distribution of ration to the needy?
Yes, sir. So challenges is, first of all, we all over India we have this model where civil supplies units will be placed. All local people have to go there and collect it. The first of all is that server connectivity, which I found, sir, during my training. I have been posted for 2 weeks in the part of the training as deputy collector. So when people had to come there, the signal and the GPS connectivity with the devices, the POS machines were not functioning well in few areas. Secondly, the storage of grains also, lack of spaces that has happened, sir. And also the coordination between the warehouses to the POS centers has to be maintained, point of sale centers. That if there is a lag in delay, then the ration to be reached in this point will be difficult, sir. So that is why in the state of Andhra Pradesh, we have bought this mobile dispensing units concept, where in the local area within a sphere of 2-3 kilometers, the people will be called in their own locality and distributed by weighing the machine, sir.
You got a Best Project Award for Eco Bricks. What was it?
Sir, as a part of the curriculum in the 4th year of my engineering, we had to do a project where I wanted to go for something recyclable. So from the blast furnace steel plant of Visakhapatnam, blast furnace was used to be discarded. So what we have done is 1 ton for 1500 rupees we have acquired, 7 members team. We have made bricks that 25% of its component will be substituted. The sand will be substituted by slag.
Okay.
And that's the project, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
How long have you joined this service? Because your biodata says that you are still in the forest.
Sir, that DAF was filled way back, sir. I joined the service in September 2023. The DAF was filled in June, sir.
And how long have you been in the service, the PCS?
6
State
months,
Civil
sir.
Service?
6 months.
6 months.
Yes.
And you don't go through the formal training.
It's an on-job training, sir. 3 months of HRD training will be there.
And then you have to go to and join the academy.
Join the academy. Academy itself is this 3-month training, sir. Rest of the time we have to directly go on.
So you've done your academy days.
It is yet to be.
It is yet to be.
Yes.
You have to go and join
Yes,
there
sir, yes.
subsequently. Okay. You've been in the forest for a fairly long time, 2 years.
Yes.
There's something called red sanders. Have you heard about
Yes,
it?
sir.
And there are only 5 districts, I think, in Andhra Pradesh. Which are the 5 districts where you get red sanders? What is so special about it?
Yes. Sir, red sanders or Pterocarpus santilis, which is scientifically called as, it's an endemic species of Andhra Pradesh. It's a rare because of its medicinal, therapeutic, as well as its carving property skills that it has. It is revered in Southeastern Asian markets also. So, sir, with regard to this, the districts that it is found, the major district is Chittor, sir. Apart from it, some traces have been found in Kadapa, Kurnool. We also have some traces in this Bapatla district, so these are the major, but Chittor forms the highest percentage of red sanders, sir.
Why is it not grown in other parts of the country?
Sir, scientifically it has been proven that the soil, the red loamy lateritic soil type of soil is only beneficial, and it is abundant in the state of Andhra Pradesh, sir. It is a little bit interior to the coastal districts.
But why only those 5 districts? When red soil is to be found right up to Odisha.
Yes, it is found, sir, but some kind of nutrients, it is believed, sir, which is why even Neelambu teak, it's only found there, and red sanders in Andhra Pradesh.
You must have heard about this Biodiversity Act.
Yes.
And you must have heard about the village level. How do you save the biodiversity in the state?
So in this 3 hierarchy, there is at the local district level, we have biodiversity registers, like people biodiversity registers will be maintained. So locally, we will pool in some at least 20 to 30 people who have these knowledge over the local medicinal plants or minor forest produce or whichever forest species are abundant or which is very intricate to that region. So these people will maintain the record. We will take note of all the historical evidences and what are these different varieties that are found in that area. We record it, maintain in the register in digital format also, and we provide them the opportunities where traditional knowledge library will be upgraded, and all over India or all.
What was the situation in your place where you were posted? The village level register were prepared?
Yes, sir.
You up to date?
Yes, sir. It was up to date where
Up to
where I
which
was
date?
posted. Sir, actually, sir, 2 months of training I have been in Himachal. So Himachal, I visited three districts, Chamba, Sundarnagar, and Mandi district. So all these three districts had these provision of biodiversity register, sir. But in Andhra Pradesh, very few hamlets, only the tribal hamlets we are focusing on, sir.
Okay, now since you are interested in women issues, please tell me which state in the country, which was the first state in the country to confer property rights to a girl child in parents' property. Which state in the country conferred? Now that you know that women have got right even in the father's property. Which state in the country was the first one to have done it, and who was the chief minister who did it for the first time?
Sir, it is my state of Andhra Pradesh. The late Shri N.T. Ramarao, sir, has done it, sir.
Okay, and which year was it that they conferred this property rights to women?
Sir, exact year I don't know, sir, but during 1980s of his tenure.
Yeah, 1985, 86,
Yes,
you were
sir,
there. Okay, now another question is, what was the role of Dr. Ambedkar in conferring property rights to women?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, I don't have idea like what he has propounded about this, but he always had voiced for equal rights, irrespective of any.
Right of women in property.
Sorry, sir, I have not read about it.
It was actually women only had right to maintenance in 1937. Only after 1937 there was some amendment that they did have a share. But that share was only during her lifetime, only for a maintenance. She had only a right to maintenance. It was only in 1956 when Hindu Code Bill was implemented that women got full property rights. But still in co-personal property they did not have the right. So your state was the leader. N.T. Ramarao was the first person in 1985 that he conferred rights to women. And that created such a impact in the entire country that it is an important part of your legislation today in 2005. Okay,
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the information.